Alrighty, we are back at it again with the Saint of Godhrkar. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. I should have probably searched that up before I even started this. But, yeah. We're back. We're gonna pick up where we left off. I think this is my save right here. So I guess it auto-saves, which is pretty cool. Okay. Alright. The words escape Raven's mouth like a speeding freight train. Then he is absorbed in his thoughts again. Internal conflicts and repressed uneasiness fill the young man's face with a melancholy haze. But he is soon aware of his impoliteness. Raven pauses, swallowing up the hidden emotions behind his pointless self-justification. I'm sorry. I just fell into a memory that's a bit much. I'm still going to call him Easton because I do not know how to pronounce that name, and I feel like it would be worse just to keep on mispronouncing his name over and over again. So yeah, that's why I'm just going to say Easton for this character. He smiles apologetically at Easton and picks up his kit. I'll take my leave now. Best of luck with your case, Detective Eastonezer. Okay, so it ended right there. So which one was this one? So this was Hysono, and this was Raven. I believe I can go to Hysono next, just to see what's going on over here. Hysono was busy greeting the residents who came to pray throughout the morning of Confession Day. The rumor he heard yesterday about Father Tuna was also spreading among the people. Just as he was about to put a stop to this false accusation, another protagonist of the rumor showed up in his small chapel. Oh, so there's another protagonist to that rumor? Which one was it? I thought it was just the priest. This way, please. Vash Skaishi, a local, confesses to a litany of minor offenses, forgetting to pray over his dinner, wishing his neighbor's harvest would rot, and harshly scolding his daughter while she did nothing but chase her dream. How dare ye? How dare you have human emotions? God damn. Hysono holds back his smile, just as he always does whenever such confessions came up. His eyes droop from listening to one parishioner after another for hours on end. For Votru's sake, has he listened to so many daily prayers that he truly struggles to not laugh at their sins, even for a moment? Hysono suddenly sobers up, adjusting his stance discreetly.
Warrior Star, Warrior Line.
All is forgiven. Do come to the baptism festival. Remember, one man's gain does not mean your loss. The drought made many desperate, compounded by the war, and he too has asked for forgiveness. Thus, could you forgive others as you forgive yourself? If so, then I will be glad to see you at the baptism festival. Yes, Father. Thank you, Father. My family and I have gotten our tickets. See you then. Satisfied, Hysono bids Vash farewell. He stands among the crowd of the faithful, waiting to take another confession, when he hears chattering from the left. He did it. That intestifon scum. Watch your language. Why? Because he's a priest? No, because we're in a holy place, you fool. A chapel should be filled with the light of truth, and I speak the truth when I say Intestifon scum can never guide the faithful. Hysono's blood boils, but he can do nothing besides hold his tongue. First Sandra, and now his own flock. The lies about Father Turna has spread far and wide indeed. I do wonder when the church will issue a statement. I heard it was Bishop Guiel himself who made Turna, Kestozai, to be a wandering preacher. You read that in the paper? The truth seeker, was it? He said he converted Turna to West Lyri without his proper ceremony. Freelance journalist. Okay. God.
See.
Yes, that's the name. He's an expatriate, meaning he has no loyalty as it is. Even the bishop is falling under suspicion because of that. I don't think so. Perhaps Bishop Guiel is no better than his...
Oh.
I heard they... An awkward, heavy silence fills the space between the parishioners. Nobody wants to talk about it, especially in the church. Those words act like a sharp jab at the chest of Hyseno in the presence of Votru and his followers. A harsh slap to the face for the church. The young priest says nothing, fighting back with patience and calmness. Who are these characters? What is this file? What is this file? Is it you? Are you the... I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Wait, that face was familiar. Wait. This... No, wait, no. No? No, that's a different face. God dang it, I don't know. I thought I was onto something, but I wasn't. If only I had the files. If only I could access the files. I don't even know what the files mean. When he comes to his senses, there are a few people remaining, but a bigger problem, what the heck? Why can I not read today? But a bigger problem awaits him. Hyseno catches a glimpse of Bishop Guiel gliding through the thick crowds with ease towards him. He couldn't stuff down the thoughts popping up in his mind. Hyseno locks eyes with the bishop until they come face to face. When Bishop Guiel bows his head to Hyseno, the confessor bows with a hand to his chest. We are honored by your presence, Bishop Godhrkar. What a surprise.
Hyseno.
Just Guiel. You know what? To make up for the fact that I'm butchering all these names, I'm going to make it even more embarrassing by doing this. Just Guiel, Hyseno. It's a pleasure to see you, dear child. Come, I know you have many questions. The bishop turns and walks towards the library, making Hyseno hurry along after him. Okay, that was one time. I'm not doing that any longer. I'm not committed. I'm non-committal. The voices fade away, leaving little noise to disturb Hyseno's thoughts. Once inside the library, Hyseno loses his composure. What will we do about Turna? Patience, my son. Not the time, your eminence. If you still think of me as your child, then you know what concerns me now. Tell me, please, will the church speak for him? Turna is in grave danger. Some are even calling for his execution. Surely no one knows better than you what hanging means to a priest, to a true devotee. I have taught you the etiquette of serving Votru and its importance, but it seems like you have forgotten it all. You haven't attended a curia in over 2 years. That's different, and you know it. Hyseno slams the door shut, mindful that wandering parishioners may hear their argument. Regardless, the case has cast a long shadow on our credibility. Votru will show justice for the wronged saint. We have to find enough evidence to speak for him, which is also Sayel's desire. What does any of this have to do with my father? What does Sayel Molnathan want this time? A crack of thunder is followed by a light rain that gently pats the rose-glass windows of St. Godhrkar. The bishop's aged hand... The bishop's... oh, what the heck? The bishop's aged hand... Okay, this is a tongue twister. The bishop's aged hand hovers over the objects on Hysono's desk. Old papers rest there, like unforgettable memories.
Hysono.
Devotion and love. The first things I taught you. The church wants to test the devotion of our priests, and your father needs your love and support. We must win the people back to our side in these tough times. Devotion? I have plenty. More than any devotee or bishop. I've memorized the Holy Canon. If only I could pour them out in front of you, they would fill the sea like sand. Yet you speak of testing my devotion? Did I not say within the church when it sat by... Did I not stay within the church when it sat by and did nothing as thousands lost their life for a lie? You know very well that my father never approved of my conversion to West Irie. What reason do I have to support him? Watch what you say, Hysono. No. I will not hold my tongue any longer. You of all people should know that the scars outweighed the rewards from the last war. You are the bishop. You should know better than anybody in the church, and you mentioned my father. So, are they just using the notoriety of Turna's case to stimulate support from hardliners? Mr. Mulnathan may be blind, but he can still hear the people cursing infesto spawned scum. It seems like he's still focusing on his grand institution, while I craved a real and complete solution, including clearing Father Turna's name. After hearing such an impertinent remark, Bishop Guiel remains silent. His eyes are distant, staring out the window into the misty rain. I don't know about you, but it looks like he's looking at us. He turns back to Hysono, observing his anger and sorrow. His face is peaceful and calm, like the idols on the rose window. All I can promise is that this will eventually be solved, and solved in quiet. In the meantime, we cannot let the faithful worry. We must show them our devotion is unshakable. Before Guiel can finish, Hysono's anger bursts. Do you hear what parishioners are saying about Turna? They're calling him a murderer. And even the Morning Post reported the case right on the front cover. Turna may have been a bit of a cynic, but he still doesn't deserve the... Why can't I read? What is going on today? Turna may have been a cynic, but he still doesn't deserve the... Turna may have been a bit of a cynic, but he still doesn't deserve the blame. Is that what the church wants? The hearts of the public unsettled, living every day in fear of unspeakable deaths? The evening bell should never knell, Your Eminence. It should be a reminder of a hot supper in the embrace of the family. Or should it be like the bell tower of St. Godhrkar, which never rings, where the believers fear they may be killed just by stepping into the darkness? Is this what the church wants? After such a long silence? Enough, Hysono. I'm not going to say it again. If you still believe in the Holy See, then believe in it. Empty words. How can I have faith that it won't just be another excuse to do nothing? I thought you of all people would understand. Have you no heart? You know exactly how devoted Turna is. He's innocent. Please. Hysono shakes his head sadly, looking wearily at the bishop's face. Guiel is not young. While the left half of his face is wrinkled, the right is covered with scars, remnants of war and the poison gas attacks. No matter how old Hysono is, he still feels like a helpless, powerless child in front of the bishop.
Hysono.
You must understand, Hysono, that the church is powerful, but it is also weak. Countless chains bind this heavy statue. It is like putting the cart before the horse to save just one while sacrificing many. In fact, some things are not meant to be known to all. This case is beyond the reach of the Holy See. Handing it over to the Order is the best way at the moment. The Order is just an academic institution. Why? You're not waiting for the merciless Sayelt Mulnathan to act, are you? Who would you rather allow Turna to be slandered in the meantime, even if you believe in his innocence?
I'm a 4-star.
I will wait until Sayelt tells me that the police found their evidence. It only appears as if they are not on his side. Look closer, dear child, and you will see that they are hard at work.
Zemni Fio.
You too, my child, are the eyes and the ears of the church. Is it not a reflection of your poor guidance if you hear wagging tongues? Hasano bares his teeth, shaking and trying to contain his rage. He lowers his head to recite a few meditative prayers, only to find that his mind is filled with disappointment. Bishop left quietly as he came. He clenches his fist and gasps, only to feel the pain and anger piercing his heart like a hot blade. The papers are scattered across the floor, getting blown around whenever he attempts to pick them up. Is it bad? Am I being nosy? He doesn't know. He just knows it's what he wants to do. Why would the order take charge of what the church cannot do? He ponders Gwael's words. Sayelt Mulnathan, the Honorable Chief Scholar of Verathesis Order, and his biological father. Why did he get involved in this? And what is he planning? Hisano rises and looks outside the window. The rain seems to be falling more heavily. It is not enough, Hisano thinks with a wry smile. It's not heavy enough to ring the bell of St. Godhrkar. But it's still falling as if it will never stop. And neither will Hisano. He's going to have a talk with his father. I understand that I'm butchering the title all the time. I'm so sorry. I'm wondering if I should just call it Saint of God. As they did after his brother's death. Huh. Shervlet accompanied her patron and his daughter to the racetrack for their appointment as scheduled. According to Lagarde Weiston, they are not only there to enjoy the spectacular race, but also to meet with their partners. Okay. After a rather long journey, Weiston's car finally arrives at Mentis Frontier Racecourse. Robert steps out of the driver's seat and eagerly opens the back door. A soft hand clings to his palm and is followed by captivating strands curly hair. They sway lightly in the breeze and settle quietly on the lapel of the owner's collar. Like walking straight out of a painting, a pale and frail-looking girl steps out of the car. A heavy scarf wraps tightly around her thin shoulders, as if holding her very existence together. Lagarde gets out of the car behind her, holding her hand to make room for Shervlet to leave the car. Rorty, still dizzy? The girl shakes her head and forces a smile as an answer. The girl shakes her head and barely forms a small smile at Lagarde's words. Shervlet stands behind them, trying not to roll her eyes. Her patron is a perfect gentleman, except when his daughter is around. His attention is always glued to her, as if others don't exist, which of course he won't admit. Shervlet has little sympathy for the sickly girl, who has been spoiled to death. This girl knows how to please men. Though not jealous of his skill, Shervlet finds the girl's manners, shyness, and frailty hard to appreciate. If Rorty had been born where I was, she may not have survived childhood, Shervlet thought coldly. But in any case, Lagarde wouldn't bring them all to such a remote place on a whim.
Earglow?
Why have we come here, Mr. Weiston? For your show, dear Shervlet. We need to meet up with our cooperators. Confused, Shervlet keeps her smile and drops the subject. What help do they need? She has no clue, but Lagarde is not a man of exaggeration. Shervlet trusts him and knows he has a plan they must follow.
A line.
Is this your first time here? No need to worry. And enjoy the race with Rorty. Rorty raises her eyes and smiles at Shervlet, but only gets a disinterested nod in return. A waiter greets them at the entrance, and they follow him towards the box office. Please, this way, gentlemen and ladies. The race will start in an hour. Do you want to bet? All of our horses are exceptional. Each of them has a chance to be the winner.
Mic off. Mic on.
Sorry about that.
Ring too, Jang.
Which one do you like? Nori Giant or Thunder? As the waiter chatters on, Lagarde pulls out a brochure and turns to Rorty with a smile. The girl hesitates for a moment, then points shyly to a name on the leaflet.
Svensson.
Bet 300 thil on Thunder from Kajan. Charlotte's jaw drops. She hides her face behind her fan, shocked at the amount of money Lagarde is dropping on a mere horse. The concept of betting on animals isn't new to her, a girl raised in the slums, but betting a drink on a chicken can't compare to the small fortune Lagarde put down. After taking the bet, Lagarde looks calm, with neither gambler's trepidation nor the pain of having just spent so much. Chervlet grows worried as they weave through the crowd. What happened to making her a star? Surely gambling wasn't Lagarde's answer to her problems. However, once they're behind the crimson wooden gate, Chervlet's swept up in the excitement of it all. The cheers instantly overwhelm the four people. There are thousands of seats around the oval-shaped track, and they're almost full. The shrieks and high trumpets become a frenzied sea. When the bang of the gun sounds and its powder dissipates on the racehorse, famous horses of various colors gallop forward. The cheers and jeers of the crowd send her heart fluttering. Never in her wildest dreams did Charlotte imagine she'd see something so grand. Her gaze falls on Lagarde Wyston, who is in a well-tailored suit. He is looking upon the race with disinterest. But, in Charlotte's eyes, she's gazing at perfection. It's Lagarde's guiding hand that'll lead her to be a queen.
That's Wyston.
Mr. Wyston. Before she can finish her sentence, she feels an icy glare coming from the section below them. Chervlet shifts her eyes, careful not to make a scene. She stares into the expressionless face of a very tall and strong man. Took you long enough. Rob's voice is chipper, highly unusual before Lagarde speaks. Rorty, however, is still watching the track intently. The man below makes his way to the trio's section, his gaze never leaving hers. Chervlet keeps her facade, but tenses as he comes closer. Who is this man? This is... Chervlet looks to her savior, who gives her a small smile. Another rarity. Chervlet's nervousness skyrockets. She has never been more apprehensive. Those silent green eyes are full of impassioned ruthlessness. Something isn't right. Chervlet, Rorty, please greet our guest, Gweiler Warnock. Chervlet observes the man from behind her fan, trying to solve the puzzle. Lagarde Wyston is a rich man and a gentleman. Men like him need muscle that can protect their interest. Judging by his tough appearance, Chervlet guesses Gweiler must work for him as a bodyguard or outright killer.
Oh, Marianne.
It's a pleasure to meet you, darling. My name is Chervlet. I'm a singer. Rorty doesn't make a sound, only raising her hand shyly and reaching out to Warnock. The tall man takes her hand and gives it a soft kiss. The pleasure is mine. I've heard great things about you, Mr. Wyston. Chervlet furtively raises an eyebrow. Gweiler Warnock's words make her reassess him. He's not as stupid and disgusting as Rob, who always turns into a hungry animal when facing temptation. In opposition to his rough look, Gweiler Warnock's manner shows his cultivation and etiquette. Indeed. Now come and sit, Gweiler. That's something I need to discuss with you. Chevlet and Rorty shift so Gwyler and Lagarde can sit beside each other.
Ah.
I heard you took care of the lead singer. I talked with him. Not a problem. Mr. Farquhar is a very negotiable man.
Cleffy.
Pity that the Pearl Shell Orchestra is not. They are planning to use their freshmen. With that, Lagarde takes an envelope from his pocket and passes it to Gwyler. There's his name, address, and some photos. I've heard the orchestra is having a party tonight. Maybe you can meet him on his way. Feel free to act a little more harshly this time. Sure wish the orchestra would learn their lesson. I give you my word. He'll learn the spotlight isn't for him. Gwyler tears open the envelope and takes out the photos. Then nods to his employer as a promise. Good. Sherwood stars rising. Two can't shine at the same time, can they? Of course. I'll make sure Mr. Foucher is the only singer they can get by tomorrow. The men share a laugh, though Rob's laughter sounds more nervous than anything else. Shervlet attempts to keep up with the conversation, but she got lost along the way. One thing she knows for certain. It will be another dreadful problem for the next singer. What are they planning to do? Kidnap, threaten, or even kill? Shervlet stares at the tracks in silence. The steeds are still on them, but the results are obvious. Her stomach twists in disgust. Yes, she wants fame, but she wants to attain it with her own talent. Lagarde's plan is completely unnecessary. But maybe he is putting in every effort to make sure everything goes well. It reminds her of what he taught her. The song is not a first solution, but a last resort. She needs to bide her time and allow him to create opportunities for her. She's conflicted, but the only thing she can do is squeeze her black pearl necklace and try to conceal concern by feigning a calm facade instead. A pair of hands wraps hers. It's Rorty, whose face is quite close to hers. Rorty simply stares at Shervlet with eyes full of sorrow, as if worried about her.
Fyong. Shong.
I'm fine. Rorty shakes her head, but when she tries to speak, someone else interrupts their conversation. It is a handsome young man who finally finds his target and shouts to him.
Tav!
Bro, Lagarde! There you are! Gwyler's expression changes as he recognizes the man. That resolute and solemn facade finally cracks. He stands up and pushes the young man into a corner before the staff throws him out for blocking the view.
Here you go.
What are you doing here, Gaul? Where's your manners?
Kifadi Tren?
I just wanted to greet you and Lagarde. You call this a greeting? It's Mr. Weiston to you, you idiot! Gwyler smacks his brother's head without hesitation. Gal does not fight back, seemingly used to such reactions, and simply rubs his forehead. Mr. Weiston... And iron that into your brain! Alright, what do you need? I won't spare you if you're trying to start something.
Kifadi Tren?
Of course not. I'm here to inform you that the most recent goods they ordered will be done before Sunday. Finally, Gwyler's eyebrows lift. Well done. Take it easy. We've got a new job on our hands. If all goes well, we'll gain some additional materials.
Zizi.
That's great. I've got this new show I want to watch. Gwyler smacks Gal on the head again before his brother can finish his words.
Here you go.
Stop fooling around and think about how to earn before how to spend. Gal clutches his forehead and almost weeps. His brother sighs and ruffles his hair as comfort. You need to grow up soon, Gal. Let's go. I'll take you to Lagarde. Isn't it Mr. Weiston? Pardon?
Tav!
Nothing. Gwyler leaves this topic and drags Gal to Lagarde.
Vestishiak.
Excuse us. This is my younger brother, Gal. He is the one who made those goods you ordered. Please forgive his bad manners. Gal is the best prop maker you've ever seen, especially for leather and string.
Zizi.
I'm at your service, Mr. Weiston. My name is Gal Warnock.
Here you go.
What about the ladies, you idiot? Yes. Good day, Ms. Weiston, Miss Foucher. Wyler reminds him in a clenched voice, forcing Gal to make salutations with everyone present. The guard looks at the young man with a genuine smile. He's always tolerant of young one's impudence. And as for the driver, Rob, he is already lost in the horse-racing atmosphere.
Melody.
The pleasure is mine, gal. How is it going?
Mostreas.
We collected all the materials we need to replace the surface of the drum. To ensure the effect, we've preloaded the rest of the string, which has been delivered to the warehouse with the rosin. Also, the used one was destroyed. When it comes to the orders, Gal sounds so professional that his personality shines in stark difference.
Zizi.
It will be finished in 3 days. By the way, I've almost finished the extra precision equipment you ordered, and it can be delivered to you tomorrow. As for the installation...
Voce.
That's enough. Thank you. Leave the rest to us, please.
Easy.
Understood. Great Lady Charlotte, and let's go. We have business elsewhere for now.
Kiva die train.
I know. Stop stomping on me, man. It hurts.
Zizi.
So, Miss Wyston, Miss Faucher, good day. Gal does exactly as his brother told him. Rorty and Charlotte nod and watch as they leave the bleachers. As soon as they disappear, Robert complains in a low voice. What weird brothers. They really are, Charlotte thinks to herself. But it doesn't matter. Whatever it takes to get on that stage is worth it.
Wat Weizen.
Mr. Wyston. Yes, dear?
Schon.
This is going to work, right? I'm going to be a star.
A line.
Of course, dear. Just wait and watch. I always win. Charlotte understands and nods in response. She turns her attention to the race. The storm is coming. She can feel it. Okay. Before he went to bed last night, Raven got an invitation from his roommate, Neo. He decides to go with him to a party held by Neo's orchestra to celebrate his promotion. But just before Neo left, he received a phone call from Neo. Okay. What's up, Neo? What's crack-a-lackin'?
Just your claw?
Neo?
Rather.
Raven, what took you so long? Raven had come from their shared room and had barely picked up the receiver when the landlord told him it was Neo's call. When he answers the phone, a stream of complaints and orders assaulted him from the other end. Alright, hold up. There we go. Okay, I'm trying to remember what it was pronounced like from last time I played this. Was it Yichties? Thank Yichties you haven't left the house yet, huh? Go to my room and in the left closet, grab the fourth suit to the right, the one with the purple polka dot tie tucked around the collar. I just found out the suit I have doesn't fit. Hurry up, the party's about to start and don't be late. I need to give a speech. Do I need to change? It's fine. You don't have to do anything. You can just get some grub after the dance.
A line.
Well, I'll be there as soon as I can. Thank you, my friend. I owe you one. Neo hangs up. Raven heaves a sigh, fumbling 2 coins from his pocket and plunging them into a metal box by the phone while looking at himself in the landlord's mirror. The dark-haired young man takes off his usual woolly waistcoat. The slim frame of his shoulders and chest is outlined by the suit. He smooths the folds and firmly tugs the knot of his tie to complete the look, but wearing such a fancy outfit leaves him with a funny feeling. The last time he wore a suit was at the previous New Year's party. The suit he's wearing was a gift from when he entered the university. Unsurprisingly, considering the extended amount of time he's had the suit, the material has started to stretch out, making it loose-fitting in some areas, while the shoulders and waist areas are still fairly tight. Putting on his long coat, Raven rushes up the stairs. He has to fetch Neo's beautiful suit as directed. Neo's wardrobe is much larger than his, and is crammed from top to bottom with all kinds of clothes. Looking for something in it would make anyone feel as if they're caught up in a tornado. The silk clothes are rubbing against other knickknacks, the kind you can usually get from the stalls on the streets. The clothes often release a pungent smell, and some aren't even washed, adding a hint of sour to the closet's odor. Bro, that's gross. This turbid odor is even more powerful in a confined space. Raven is so put off that he pulls the suit out by the hem the second he finds it and slams the closet door shut. Paper bags for clothes are easy to find. They're all over the room. After Raven grabs one and shoves the garment into it, he takes a quick glance at the clock. 9:17 already. That's not good. There's no time for himself now. If he insists on taking the chance and preps himself up, Neo's clothes will definitely be late. How about trying the Gutway? Raven knows little about the Gutway. He'd lived in Old Town for nearly a week to investigate a disease of the intestophan immigrants. There he witnessed children die of both the disease and street fights. It was as dangerous as a jungle back in those days. However, after the war, everything changed for the better. But it is already nighttime. You haven't been around there after dark, and almost all of their crimes happen at night. It's alright. Pull yourself together. There's no reason for those people to attack you. Okay, so it's selected the main street. Okay. Determined to take a detour through the main street, Raven wraps his scarf tightly around his neck and pushes open the apartment's gate. Alright, I'm wondering where this takes us. The weather is rather unpleasant. The clouds that had gathered since the afternoon stir in the sky like a pot of caramelized sugar. Raven runs as fast as he can. A string of crackles sound each time the soles of his shoes press against the icy gravel, again and again, each time faster than the last. Raven scans the area. He takes notice of the numerous looming billboards and glass windows as he shivers in the cold silence. The road is empty. Raven rarely spots any passers-by. The streetlights are the only things decorating the road, reflecting their yellow lights and making the wires look like threads of gold. Raven borrows the dim light to check the time on his watch. At this rate, he'll definitely be late. This evening's party is crucial for Neo, who is still waiting for his flamboyant garment, and thus to be announced as the lead singer. A figure bumps into him, disrupting his train of thought. Before Raven realizes what happened, a rough arm picks him up by his collar and pulls him into the side alley. You've come to a good place, Mr. Moir. The voice comes from behind them. A chill runs through him, like icy water racing along his spine, making him shiver to the point of convulsing. Raven straightens up and runs forward, but he is weighed down by a hand and dragged back by the mysterious man. He grabs Raven effortlessly by the neck and lifts him into the air. Raven struggles to break free, scratching and clawing at the man's hand in an attempt to pry the fingers open. With his limited supply of oxygen and the amount of energy he was exerting, his struggle was to no avail. As the man presses Raven against the wall, he smells the man's odor. It's that of a person who deals with the tanning process in leather making. The smell is unpleasant, but it also flashes to something else in his memory. The black-red musculature of the corpse he examined flashes through his mind. Is this how they met their end? Raven's lips begin to shake. His eyes open wide and tears stream down his face. The knife glimmers in the fraction of light that pierces the dark. The man's hair is as silver as his blade. He tosses the knife up in the air and twirls it in his hand as soon as he catches it. Like a seasoned butch. Oh no, am I dead for taking the main street? Are you kidding me? Okay, I guess I'll give it to him for using a more direct method of getting victims. What the fuck? Raven kicks hysterically, pressing his chin against the man's hand in an attempt to make him let go. I'm not more... But the murderer ignores him. Raven can't see what he's doing, but the hand suddenly tightens its grip. As skilled as it first appeared, the man's hand is quick and steady. The moment the knife slips out of the man's hand and falls, Raven takes the chance and dashes forward, only to feel the cold sensation of metal across his chest and down to his stomach in a flash. Oh, what the fuck? No! The epidermis, muscular layer, peritoneum, and visceral peritoneum. Raven wonders why he would be thinking about such things. Then he hears nothing but his own screams, unsure if they're just in his head. The pain makes him instinctively reach out to grasp the man's wrist. The pain will soon ease away, and eventually he will feel cold. At least, that's what's written in the books. And they didn't lie. The pain quickly fades, leaving a strange, warm sensation in his belly. It floats on the surface, growing hotter until it seems to boil. But the icy cold of the metal cannot be ignored. It stirs his insides as the blade freezes to his flesh. His organs surge back to life. As his sensory neurons resuscitate, Raven gasps for air. Tears pour from his eyes and his teeth clench tighter. The man keeps staring at him, his expression calm as if wearing a gypsum mask. His eyes glow in the night. The face of the silver-haired man in the dark rotates and melts. Raven struggles to get a hold of the knife, but his dying brain thinks he's holding a cup instead. He sees the fish lying on a plate, looking at him with its white and cloudy eyes as mysterious white foam trickles from its mouth. The fish turns it into the face of the dead, and the corpse smiles at him with the same shriveled face, blowing a cold kiss from its hollow mouth. The wind brushes his cheek, and he feels every ounce of coldness seep into his bones. He lets go of the knife and lowers his weakening arm, uttering a feeble sob. The pain from the movement causes his hands to shake, his face to crumple, and the tips of his fingers to twitch like an epileptic patient's. The man loosens his grip on the knife, leaving Raven hanging by the blade. The weight drags him down, and the young surgeon's suit is painted in red. The pain is excruciating, making Raven think of how the ancient savages put their captives on long nails, the loss of blood bringing madness out of him. As the man watches Raven frantically struggle to rid himself of the blade, he takes out another knife, this one with a thinner edge, as thin as a willow leaf. He takes a step closer and slashes the lad's neck. Bro, what the fuck? First choice I make and I get fucking murdered. Are you kidding me? The frenzied loss of blood causes Raven to bite his tongue. With every breath he takes, blood gushes from the opening in his neck. As the blood floods his lungs, Raven coughs. His eyes are drowned in uncontrollable tears, the blurry figure is fading away. The man pulls a knife out and lets the immobilized youth drop to the ground like a sack. But his victim is not dead, and he hears a faint cry from the throbbing larynx of the dying musician in a pool of blood. He listens with great interest, and then, with a heavy step on his neck, accompanied by a muffled click, the boy's spine breaks under the sole of his shoe. The body twitches for a moment, then finally stops moving. No shit, bad end. What the fuck do you mean, scapegoat? What the fuck? Dude, that is bullshit. That is bullshit, and you know it. So, does it end every time a character dies? I guess that makes sense, but like, how am I supposed to traverse through the story if it ends every time someone dies? That's gonna be the real question, huh? I don't know. The murderer kind of looked like this guy, dude. Is it the detective doing that shit? I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, that's usually how it is. Man, some of these characters we haven't even, like, met yet. That's crazy. After a bad ending, you can click to restart the game from the last read chapter. You mean from this side? More stories are now unlocked. Unread or changed stories will be displayed in red color, while the red ones are displayed in dark blue. Changing one story sometimes impacts the other red stories. Okay. So this is new. So these two are new. Alright. This is not only because of the remaining doubts in the reluctant criminal, but also his special status. Okay, I'm going to start with the detective. Okay. So I guess there's a reward for getting a character killed. You need to tell us what happened, Father Turna Keshtazai. The blond man smooths over his voice with a reassuring tone. He glances at his partner, Easton. He nods, allowing Widden to take the role of good cop. Look, I want to help you avoid the gallows, but the only way I can help you right now is if you tell me what happened. You get me? So, tell me, why were you found unconscious at the crime scene? Whose knife is it? Or just tell me exactly what you saw before passing out, alright? All he gets in response is the priest's contemptuous silence. Widden forces his anger down. He turns over the case files, and the only sound in the room is the rustling of papers sliding over each other. They have been chasing the killer, who has been linked to nearly a dozen murder cases, for the better part of 2 months. Each body they found was more stomach-churning than the last. To make matters worse, their only suspect is the wandering priest found at the last crime scene. But the man shows no resistance, accepting everything they've done to him in silence, as if his soul had already abandoned him. The trial is on the 17th. Widden falters, taking longer than usual to switch his expression back to his classic smile.
Hear me star.
Yes, but it's not too late to confess. You... Guess I won't make it in time for Amnesty Day. Widden presses down absently on his pen, almost ruining the report when the ink spurts everywhere. He sighs deeply as he comes to terms with the fact that the priest is unlikely to cooperate any further, and his attempt at a peaceful negotiation was in vain. He puts the cap on his pen, issuing a signal for his partner to take over.
Der Fick.
You're wasting our time. Easton stands up and yanks the document from Widden's hand. He then snatches out a few photos and slams them down in front of Turna. He's read the case file 100 times and knows it by heart.
Sigh.
Look! Turna keeps his chin up, a scornful expression on his face as he lets the eyes which he can still open drift downward. Even as he scans the photos of the grisly crime scene, his lips remain quiet. Horrible is an understatement. The skin around the victim's upper body and arms was flayed, exposing the hardened bluish flesh underneath. Their intestines had been removed. The skin on the victim's back was neatly dissected, exposing a row of chalky human bones. Each body had been mutilated. 2 vertebrae were missing from the body found on November 5th. The victim on November 14th had been skinned, and the one from the 22nd was gutted and hollowed. Damn. As for the most recent one, it may be faster to describe what's left instead of what's missing. The murderer is highly skilled, having done no damage to the surrounding muscle tissue. Despite their certainty that the same person was responsible for all the murders, the police found no pattern in the culprit's choice of souvenirs.
Salendo.
Talk! Easton grabs Turna's collar with enough strength to nearly lift him up, his eyes sharp as razors. Turna stares straight back at the detective. Anyone can see that Turna had a rough couple of days after his arrest. His bronzed skin does little to hide the bruises on the face.
Stiff fuck.
Don't waste your time. The wandering priest smiles. His tone is full of contempt, and his words mock the detective as though he's deliberately trying to enrage him. Leave him. Easton makes a fist of his own, tempted to slam it right into the man's already shattered face. Okay. The two remain frozen for a moment, until the detective slowly turns to leave and slams the door behind him. I don't think it's Turna, man. Easton lights the cigarette in his mouth with a match. He's frustrated by the lack of progress and the suspect's dismissive attitude.
Yo.
Well, well. Good day, Detective Porcelaz. I take it things aren't going well with your interrogation. He spots his colleague Tracier and several other police officers walking in his direction with some prisoners. The man had questioned Turna yesterday, and Easton believes he was responsible for quite a few of the priest's injuries. Wooden is still in there. He ignores Tracier's taunts, moving to the side to make way for his colleagues. You better get back to work, puppy. Try not to screw it up this time. The officers laugh amongst themselves. They take the gangsters away while intentionally pushing past Easton and shoving his shoulder on the way by, reiterating how unwelcome the ski-in was.
Gloves that mean?
What's the matter with you? Wooden exits the interrogation room shortly after and notes that his partner is clenching a broken cigarette.
Godhrkar.
Did he talk? Nope. The priest's sealed tighter than a clam. He should have tried roughing him up. That monster had it coming.
Shangfo.
We haven't confirmed he's the murderer yet. We don't have any hard evidence against him. Besides, considering the state he's in, I doubt violence will get him to talk.
Godhrkar.
We don't need any more evidence. We give our report as is, and they'll send him to the gallows.
Godhrkar.
He was caught at the crime scene, with a knife right next to the corpse, Easton. As far as I'm concerned, that sounds like a closed case. And that's why Easton is troubled. His instincts tell him that it's not as simple as it seems, but the clues paint a clear picture.
Godhrkar.
That's all well and good, but you saw the state of the crime scene. Something doesn't add up here. He recalls the photos of the crime scene. At first glance, they're as messy as a gang fight. But after a closer inspection, the small details only magnify a sense of uncanny. Things just feel too clean for a back alley brawl. All the wounds, whether on the victim's neck, gut, or the flayed ones in the arms, were done precisely, which is extremely horrifying considering the state of the body. And the victim wasn't a kid or an old man, but a normal-sized adult about the same height and build as Turna. At the crime scene, the nearby garbage bags, barrels full of fish bones, and other tools were left undisturbed. There was no sign of any struggle. Wooden understands Easton's point, but all he does is shrug in response. The question was no doubt valid, but Wooden believed it was a waste of time to try applying logic to a lunatic. So we need more information, starting with an autopsy. Wooden rolls his eyes, unsurprised by his partner's stubbornness. Easton is a good cop, the type who would always fulfill his duty, unlike most of the others here.
Your turn.
Well, you heard the director. We have to get an explanation out to the people as soon as possible. With the gang conflicts growing increasingly fierce by the day, and a serial killer on the loose, the reputation of the Illy City Police Department has plummeted to rock bottom. Now that they finally have a suspect, the department is eager to honor... My God. Now that they finally have a suspect, the department is eager to redeem their honor with the priest's life, even if it means tarnishing the church's reputation. Easton knows what he means. The victims of Turna's alleged crimes died quietly. No one has reported them missing, and no families have come forward to claim their bodies. They have their suspect, and trying to solve a case that was already solved is a waste of time.
Darfik.
This case can't end like this. But he can't let it go. Even if he gains nothing from pursuing this case any further. Look, I understand your need for closure, but the last case you got hung up on almost turned into a war zone. Literally. As soon as he speaks, his partner's face sinks, and Wooden sees the weight in his steel-gray eyes. It's as if he's facing the whip friars. It's as if he's facing the whip friars used to punish sinners. Yet whose soul is it whipping? His or Easton's?
Gashlin.
No offense, but it's already been decided. The body is to be taken to the morgue and cremated in a couple of days. Director Passmore won't appoint a coroner, so there's no way to perform an autopsy.
Shangfo.
No.
Klar?
What? Wooden lays out the facts as harshly as he can, pausing for a moment before he turns his direct gaze in the direction Easton is looking.
Oi, oi.
Wait a second. Are you seriously thinking we...
Darvik Zaneto.
Yes. There's another way to get that autopsy. Looking at the Illy Medical University far away, Easton is determined. Damn. What you doing, Easton?
Mic off. Mic on.
I'm debating whether or not to turn on my fan. Alright, let's read Arif. That's new. As the young secretary of the Verathesis Order, Arif Semhel was recently overwhelmed by her busy schedule. At this crucial time, her strict and old-fashioned boss introduced her to an enthusiastic young man. Oh yeah, that's an entirely different character too. Okay, let's go with this one. Finally. With a resounding click, Arif pulls away from the telegraph.
Mic off. Mic on.
Extended time spent typing leaves her stiff as she wrinkles her face while stretching. She lowers her eyes, and the bulky metal telegraph on the table comes into view. Her work is just like the typewriter she uses. Mechanical, monotonous, and unnecessarily complicated at times. She knows that the letters and telegrams she sends are very important. Any one of them could change a man's fate. Like a plant rotting from its roots before its leaves even have a chance to wither. The tension within Illy City has already made the headlines of many newspapers. Although the police have their dissatisfaction with the Post, their words matter little against the power of potential coins in their bags. The city is a bustling and complicated place, with different factions and gathering to take part in the eternal play, each attempting to cultivate their own while skirmishing against others. To Arif, this is why her workload has increased day by day since the Civil War. And with that last telegram sent, there's no longer a reason for her to stay in the post office. After taking a moment to gather up her spirits, Arif puts on her purple coat and packs the file with letters and other notes. As she's making her way outside, Arif catches a glimpse of a familiar figure. Shuhite Krausier is waiting outside, still wearing that slightly too formal hat, just as he was when they first met. But today she doesn't have time for it. A pity. She has important documents to send back to the Verathesis Order. On her way out, she is confronted with a messy argument. Please. Seems like the old lady is having trouble with her mail. Probably some mishap with a letter she's misplaced. It's understandable. The last words of the letter are, unfortunately, impossible to replace. To Aerith's surprise, she discovers the woman isn't angry, but sad. Her dampened voice can hardly cover her sobs, and agony has filled her wrinkled face with tears. Terna, my son, he needs to know this. Aerith pauses for a moment, knowing her break will be postponed again. She recognizes the name the old lady just mentioned. Please, have some compassion. I'm sorry, I really can't. Please, he's going to prison for Vautru's sake. Those final words seem to take everything out of the old lady. Her voice lowers as if she accepts the fact that there's nothing she can do. I'm very sorry, but there's nothing we can do. The staff hurriedly broke free from the old lady and fled into the post office. Unable to carry the weight of agony, she was left there alone with her shoulders drooped. Hey, are you all right? My boy. I lost my only boy. I knew he shouldn't have left for Illy City. Are you perhaps Miss Keshtasai? The florist? Yes. Hamidi Keshtasai raises her head in response and looks at Aerith. Her hands, blessed with green fingers, were covered with tears. If you're trying to cut in line with a letter of yours, then I am sorry, but I can't help you. I've read about Father Terna in the paper, and I don't think anyone really believes he would do such a thing. The investigation is still ongoing, so why don't you go back home? In a few days, they'll catch the real culprit, and your son will be free to go. Realizing that she might have overstepped her bounds, Aerith flashes a friendly smile and turns to take her leave. Wait! I'm sorry. You'll have to ask a higher up regarding the letter. Maybe I could phone the police station? Could you please take me to it? Or maybe you could tell me about the tragedy in Illy City. I've been having trouble keeping up with things. I can't read, and it's all happening so fast. The police station isn't far from here. It's on the northeast side of Casely Street. I'll take you halfway. Thank you. Oh, that's nice of us. Along the way, Hamidi holds onto her arm, babbling about Terna. Aerith is just relieved that she's taken her attention away from the unpleasant situation. The day he went to Illy City, I remember it was the last Sunday in November. I asked him to take some biscuits. It would have taken him a whole night to get there by train. He told me that there would be a lot of weddings in Illy City next month, and there aren't enough officiants to go around. He volunteered to lend a helping hand, saying it was his duty as a wandering priest to help out. And just last week, I got a telegram from him. How could they think Terna killed someone? Why would the police think he committed... What was it they said? It's reported that the police found him at the crime scene. I just can't believe it. He has always been such a kind boy. Hamidi wipes her pink, swollen eyes with a handkerchief and looks at Aerith with a cautiously expectant gaze. Though, I suppose he could be harsh. The children of St. Godhrkar would always tell me that he scolded them, but it was never out of cruelty. He is just... I know. He was a strict but fair priest with a strong sense of justice. Hamidi tilts her head to the side and raises her eyebrows. Oh, I hardly go to the chapel myself. Just have some religious friends, that's all. I see. That's all right. Hamidi looks away from Aerith and down at the pavement after they rounded a corner. Continuing straight ahead for 2 blocks would get them to the police station. Do you know what crime he was arrested for? Is it really a murder case? I'm not sure. Sorry. I just heard that the police don't know much about the victim, and the only lead they found is Father Turna. He looks grim. Will he be hung? Arif slows down and turns to meet Hamidi's gaze directly. The old lady looks as stable as a house of cards. Hamidi's look longer pleads for good words and happy wishes. She despairs over the newspapers that paint her son as a monster. Her final question was a desperate attempt at grasping a final answer.
Feel.
I don't know.
See.
I understand.
Good.
I'm sorry.
Allen.
No, it's fine. I can find my way to the police station from here. Arif nods. At the next street crossing, they part ways. As she arrives on the opposite side of the road, Arif stops and to look back discreetly at the florist. Regret washes over her all as she turns and continues on her way. A shrill, hard-to-ignore voice crawls out in her soul, echoing throughout her being. It shouldn't have been, and I don't know. There had to have been a better answer she could have given. So what? Should she tell the lady to prepare for the funeral, or to wait for the release of her beloved son at the prison gate tomorrow? She's powerless, unable to aid in the efforts against Illy City's current crises. The only satisfaction she'll find in picking up the pieces when it's all... The only satisfaction she'll find is in picking up the pieces when it's all said and done, before she's strong enough to make a difference. Okay. Okay, so we're getting the rest of the cast. Okay. Well, I'll do it in order in which they showed up. On the outskirts of Tulane, where tall rows of untrimmed trees accent the small town's tranquil aura, a lonely figure saunters down the road. A man wanders down the path, his figure almost melting into the verdant scenery behind him. His cowhide boots tread gently over the dirt and gravel. As usual, he takes out a box of matches and lights a cigarette. The tobacco burns into a white smoke. He inhales it deeply into his lungs, relaxing and adopting a cheerful expression. The man's jacket bounces against his waist with each step. He casually drops the cigarette and steps on the butt to extinguish its last spark. With his ash-tainted fingers, he pushes through the antique wooden door. The clock on the wall chimes when the man enters. The pawnbroker sits behind the counter he's wiping down, pausing only to wave a greeting.
Hello, Dave.
From the Holy City as usual.
Claw?
Got some new stuff? Intercepted one that was supposed to be delivered to Illy City. You're just in time. The settler just telegraphed it to about it. Pry nods, committing the name Illy City to memory. He raps the counter with his knuckles.
Kaya.
All in good time. Neither of the two men are skilled in making small talk. The old shopkeeper stops wiping the countertop and ducks under it to rummage around. Pry leans against the counter and fiddles with the scattered envelopes and packages on the table. He shuffles the letters around like poker cards, briefly noting their senders.
Hey, boss.
Excuse me. Hey, put that down! I've got no money to pay you for it. The owner finally straightens up and pushes a cardboard box in front of Pry.
Tiara line.
Fully certified, unopened, and the price is absolutely unreasonable. The shopkeeper smiles and holds out 3 fingers, only to be met with a perfunctory response. Pry is not in a hurry to unwrap it, and examines the package thoroughly. He quickly finds the deliberately folded corner revealing 3 small numbers. 113. Oh shit, this is, oh my god. This is important, isn't it? Looks like it's meant for him. Pry lifts the package, It's not exactly heavy, but not the light... Pry lifts the package. It's not exactly heavy, but not light enough to be easily ignored. Probably a thick stack of documents. The very thought of it gives him a headache. But he has to open it to find out. He takes out his rolled-edged knife and does his best to slide the blade between the folds of paper.
Hey,
The shopkeeper is irritated that the package was opened without prior payment. While his eyes fixate on the package, Priory removes a hand from his pocket and pulls out a roll of bills. Then, his eyes widen. But only for a moment. His face goes back to his typical indifference as he picks up the hunting knife lying in the box, observing its blade under the light. Oh, hi, Nova. How you doing? Just playing a bit of this game. I butcher the name. Godhrkar. My night is going good so far. Just checking out a new game. Just died for the first time and suddenly they revealed a different path, so yeah. How about you? How you doing? Alright, okay. Yeah, it is actually free. So the title of the game is gonna be, I put it in the title, I believe. Knell of St. Godhrkar, or whatever the heck you pronounce that. Just copy and paste that into Steam. It's gonna be a Steam game, and it is free. I believe the original translation is Chinese or English, so... But yeah, you can check it out. It's completely free, which is amazing, honestly. I was surprised when I found that out too, but there you go. Its fine craft makes the scion steel steam out of pale... Oh my god, English. Do you play any other games? There's good one, let me know. So far, I play the classics, you know, like Stardew, Supermarket Simulator, stuff like that, but I'm making an effort to find new games myself, so I do have one game that I'm thinking of. Okay, so it's called Find Someone Else. That's also on Steam. It's also a visual novel. I think it's good. I played through it on Steam, on stream. Okay, English. Yeah. Find Someone Else. It's on Steam as well. That is also free, and it deals with grief and how people process it. So yeah. Nothing much. Sleep, streaming, gaming, and then doing my job. How about you? Anything you do as a hobby? Its fine craft makes the scion steel steam out of a pale mist. As he turns it, the mist is revealed to actually just be the cold light reflected by different angles of the blade. Nevertheless, the brief moment of surprise is all Priory needs to realize what this box contains, and the envelopes further strengthen his conviction.
it's your line.
Hey, if I'm going to reveal my hobbies, you got to reveal yours, Nova, before we get on to that question. I'm from the US, you? The vendor's certificate. Definitely a guarantee of quality and authenticity. He murmurs, interrupting the owner's peddling. Hey, nice. That's cool. It's only a facade, so these commissions can flow openly and unsuspiciously from city to city, to the pawnbroker's hands and then his own. He asks the owner for a chair and spreads out the contents on his lap to read. Underneath the records is a crucial piece of the puzzle. The new information on the wrongdoers is described by a small picture lying at the bottom of the box. The face of the taller male piques Priory's interest. His chiseled face and powerful upper body are noteworthy features. He may prove to be a threat in combat. The other individual, however, seems out of place. His timid looks lack the typical intimidation, and his contributions are likely limited to non-physical duties. He puts the picture in his pocket and thumbs through the text, frowning before he's even finished. Hey, solitaire? Now, English, what the hell? Now that is a classic right there. Oh, dang. I'm glad you were able to play with your neighbor. Man, you know what? I don't think I'm ever that close with my neighbors. I don't think anyone around here is that close with their neighbors that they play solitaire. Huh. He's complained about it countless times, but every time he gets these files, they are filled with complex sentences and a litany of code words too difficult to understand. Hey, that's cool. Unfortunately, I don't have any money at the moment, but just drop your Instagram title or something and I'll check you out later. Is that what they prefer? To make others feel dumb? Pry heads for the counter with curses tingling on his tongue. I need a dictionary. Again? The shopkeeper puts the items he's scrubbing down on the counter with an intentional bang, making sure Pry's eye catches it. Interested? I managed to get my hands on this old relic. I haven't been able to date it yet, but they all say it's the bones of Yishtampal. Yo, ancient necklace, let's go. Pry squints at it with a raised brow, and the owner latches it onto his curiosity. Look at these markings. He points to the one side of the necklace. The bony fragments are held together by a chain made of metal links. The shopkeeper's fingers glide across it, and the whole chain bends in a rugged arc like the spine of a snake. This style of necklace is typical of the 13th century. It was then that the technology for standardized production finally found an outlet in factories. I don't know the process, but it's surely complex.
Yeah, for sure.
These makings are particularly rough, almost sloppy. They must be an artifact created by the first factories established. Based on that, the most important feature is its material. Pry nods. They don't strike him as awfully interesting. Although the legend of Yishtampal's bones is quite exaggerated, it's an unusual antique. It's definitely not the bone of an animal or human. The owner lifts the necklace under Pry's nose for a closer look. Look at the smooth texture, this extraordinary sheen. Even if it's not an oracle's bone, it's definitely some kind of artifact used to worship them. How about this? I'll give you a discount. Just 200 thil and you can...
Fee.
No. Somewhat baffled, the owner sighs, then goes into the storeroom to search for the dictionary as Pry reverts to a stoic expression. A minute later, the pawnbroker returns with a thick dictionary. He casually hands the age book to Pry.
A line.
Treat it with care, or else you'll have to pay. Pry thanks the old man and continues his laborious reading. He's not interested in the detailed list of crimes stated in the files. Otherwise, he would be here all night, except for a quick reading of the Warnock brothers' last case. That would be a good place for him to start. Unfortunately, he has to wait until he gets to Illy City to decide on a plan. Having made up his mind, Pry puts the files back in the envelope and reaches across the counter for his hunting knife. That's a good knife. A dark shadow falls across the table. It's at this moment that Pry notices the tall stranger's presence, staring down at him. How much? I'll take it. The man has Godhrkar light hair and a high nose bridge. Pry didn't even lift a brow at these kinds of troubling gangsters. Pry didn't even lift a brow at these kinds of troublemaking gangsters.
Fee.
Not for sale. He tries to return the knife to his belt to show his disinterest in a confrontation, but the Godhrkar, how do you pronounce that? Steps forward and grabs him by the wrist. A nice knife like that is a waste in your scalawag hands. Pry stares back into the man's face. Nice tie. It's a shame to get blood all over it. Before the thug can react, Pry throws a straight punch faster than a falling rock. He's sure the unlucky guy will remember this moment whenever he sees his permanently disfigured nose reflected back at him. As for now, the gangster could do nothing but stagger and try to inhale through his wide-open mouth. After Pry slams him against the wall by his collar and whacks his head on the counter, the man finally realizes he should release his grip on Pry's wrist. So the Godhrkar does. Pry's freed hand lays the knife calmly on the counter and reaches out to him. He picks up the man by his belt and collar and throws him out like a dog. It's nice to get some exercise. He turns back to retrieve his knife as the old shopkeeper pokes his head out from under the counter. It's over. Pry reaches out to help him stand. The pawnkeeper brushes off his clothes, grumbling.
Revenge!
Don't mess around in my store. At least do it outside. This shelf is full of antiques these people cannot afford.
Him. Still me.
So, it really was you who killed Yuri Demiarko with a broken knife. The new voice speaks fluent Pandemonium with only the slightest hint of an accent, and it's clearly not in the same class as the other henchmen. Muddled footsteps echo from outside the store. It's safe to say they've got the store surrounded.
Kaya.
Fetch me another dictionary. Didn't I just give you one? Not enough. The shopkeeper looks at Pry's face and realizes what he means. You're right. I'll look again. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the definition of a certain word. He dives into the storeroom, and Pry hears him lock the doors. All three of them. He turns back to face the new visitor. The man looks surprisingly young. A strong, jutting forehead and shadows... a strong, jutting... Neon... what is going on? Stroke? What the hell? The man looks surprisingly young. A strong, jutting forehead shadows his gray eyes, and his lips press against each other in a grim line.
Hastic?
Your friend?
More lie.
No need to apologize for that. You were just proving yourself. Pry clicks his tongue. This man's stereotypical line shouldn't be taken lightly. He tries to remember when he'd form a grudge with the Godhrkars. But after a moment, he gives up on the thought. After all, the number of those who want him dead would line up all the way from Skia to Pekiana.
You're clear.
So what's this about? I'm in a hurry.
Kihirian.
Please don't be such a pain in the ass, Mr. Pry. Ashforsall. You know why I'm here. A lot of people would kill to hire you if I'm not mistaken. I came here with a job that requires a top-notch expert. 4,000 fill, possibly more. All I want is a man. No extra demands, but quiet and fast. Once again, Pry looks up and down the young man in front of him. The price he offered is worth 12 lives. As you said, there are a lot of people trying to hire me indeed. My schedule is too full for you. He walks past the Godhrkar and out the door, passing the moaning gang enforcer lying on the floor. This time, no one tried to stop him. The Godhrkar thugs stand nearby, staring straight at Pry. Just like an army. Pride didn't look back, nor did he lie. At the moment, the Warnock brothers have their photo lying in his pocket, next on his hit list. Okay. Alright, now on to her. Drank drunk. What? As usual, the Rosemary pub is bustling with endless chatter and filled with folks of all sorts. Not that Letzeroll minds. How about this? His dexterous hands shift between wine bottles and beer barrels, pressing their spouts open. As the liquor fills the glasses, Letzeroll slips the perfectly shaped ice into them, filling the glasses like crystal.
Matey.
Here's your whiskey, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
What a show, huh?
We a clear tea.
Anything for you. When the man turns away, Letzeroll smiles, but drops, and he sighs. Yet another night spent in this long and boring shift.
Let's.
Oh, Yanni. Don't tell me you want another drink. One more shot and you're going to pass out.
Twanyok.
Shut up. But don't make fun of me. I can take plenty of liquor. On the last word, Yanni reveals a shining smile and lifts a thumb to his chest. Tell you a secret. Tell you a secret. I, Yanni, have been sent here by Mr. Murphy Tulane himself. Sent here?
Vivio.
Yes! And of course they will pay for my tab, so stop nagging about it, Mom. Letzeroll rolls his eyes. Yanni is tooting his horn too much. Among all the mafias, the Tulane group is one of the biggest here in Thalazak, but it's not like they can control the entire city. I'm telling the truth, man. I'm a good drinker, and since I did so well last time, Mr. Tulane said I should drink around here more and keep an eye on what's going on. Letzeroll grins, moving a few inches to the side while replacing the diluted whiskey with a neat one. I heard that. Seriously though, shouldn't you be sobering up and telling me interesting stories instead? After all, we can't have you slurring yourself up all night.
Kairos.
Come on. I know you won't talk to me more. You just want to be cool for all those girls, right? Rubbing those glasses with some girl on your mind. Letzeroll throws his rag at Yanni's face.
Yane.
Where did you learn such bullshit, Yanni? Surprise! I'm quite literate myself, you know. You're not the only one who always stays at the library. Who's always staying at the library. With your little blonde girl. Of course with her. She works there. Well then, why does a bartender go soak all day long at the library rather than staying at his bar? Fine. I tried to win the librarian over to get access to their stash of old newspapers. I need to check those newspapers. You know I need a charmer just to get access, but that didn't work as planned because a certain someone got in the way. If you ask me, man, you really are in need of some luck. I figured just as much. Hey, Letzeroll. 2 shots of gin for table 6. I see. He pours the alcohol into the glass while distracted by his own affairs. Perhaps it's because he's back in Promland, his hometown, that he's been so hung up recently. The mysteries have been like phantoms lurking in the dark, always teasing his nerves with their tentacles. He wants to know who he really is. At the age of 2, he was sent to Northland, the country where he grew up alone in a monastery far from home. What happened back then? If his family is still alive, why did they throw him away? That's why Letzeroll goes to the St. Godhrkar library, where old newspapers could provide him with hints about his past. However absurd or cruel the truth might be, but Serial's determined to find out what happened. He's done with the restless nights. He was so close. If only Sandra's older brother wasn't in the way. But Serial tosses the bottle cap into the trash, resisting the urge to click his tongue in frustration. He rests the 2 glasses of gin on the tray, forcing it into Yani's hand.
Hey, T.
That's it, jerk. Take it to table 6 if you have nothing to do. Yanni takes the tray and snorts. The same to you. I'm not here to do your job for you. That said, Yanni delivers them to the customers nonetheless. When he gets back, Serial pours a glass of whiskey for him. That's for you. I'll finish up cleaning. But I'm always open to chat if you're bored. That's what friends are for, right? And buy me dinner after I finished my shift.
Kairos.
Shut up. I never even said I'd stay. Despite Yani's harsh words, though, he stays with Serial, making small talk. Serial is about to conjure up a witty reply when they hear the loud crash of broken bottles. Yanni turns, but his sight is blocked by the crowd as a girl sobbing drifts from across the room. He scratches his hair restlessly.
Huh?
The hell's going on? Whatever it is, it's not good. He drops the glass and huddles with Yanni on the outskirts of the crowd. Yanni squeezes into it, and before Serial could even push his head between the drunken men, he hears a swear from Yanni's mouth. A girl is curled up in the middle of the crowd. Serial knows her, a young prostitute who frequently comes to the bar. The girl is on the floor, lying on her side. Her messy hair is damp with tears, and one of her high heels is being tossed around by a couple of thugs. Young men are clearly not from Tulane, just a bunch of random bastards. One jerk smiles perversely and lifts the girl's skirt. She weeps and tries to cover herself, but gets her collar ripped open for her trouble. Serial bites his lip. The sound of the girl crying and the smug little bastard's laughter stings his eardrums. Damn, can't they do this somewhere else? For a second, Serial is torn. There have already been enough troubles in the bar today as it is, but... Serial sighs and approaches the scene. Well, what's going on here?
Huh?
Who the hell are you? Serial looks back at him coldly, hands in his pockets. He isn't scared. Serial knows their kind better than anyone.
Tonyak.
Who do you think you are?
Hey, T.
I would suggest you let that young lady go. She belongs to a Tulane killer, didn't you see? The one who's always sitting in the corner. I prefer not to see your heads nailed above the crossroad for everyone to see. How would you know?
Sendamia.
It's a bar, sir. I'd recommend apologizing to her right now, or else we'd all be fucked. Even if you're not afraid of Tulane, us bars still have to make a living here. Besides, you guys don't really want to piss off a Tulane killer now, do you? His lies are of little use, though some of them were probably new and looked at each other uneasily. But the leader saw right through him. The man's feet were planted on the ground, refusing to walk away. Well, shit. When the gang members grin widely, cracking his knuckles.
Yeah, sir.
You're taking a lot of pain upon yourself, you piece of... Serial kicks a piece of broken bottle. As if the skittering glass were a sign, a gangster on the other side rushes towards him. The prostitute squeals in horror, fussing her skirt up, and scurries into the crowd, watching the men break into a fight. Whoa! At the last second, Serial manages to duck, barely escaping the heavy fists swinging past his head. He quickly circles behind the gangster, wrapping his leg over the man's feet and slamming him to the ground. The thug's body falls with a thud, sending up a cloud of dust. Without giving Serial a chance for a break, the other hoodlums rush him. Serial dodges each attack, though just barely. He returns the hits. Instead, he merely trips them or shoves them out of the way. It's not that he can't fight. Serial just knows it's all impossible for him to take on all of these thugs at once. Shit. After dodging another punch, Serial trips, giving them the advantage. As they grab him, he notices that most of the customers are already gone. Seems like someone's running out of luck. The gangsters gather around him. Their leader spits on the ground and smiles cunningly at him. Serial sees a bottle in his hand. The gang members grab other bottles from a nearby and swing them down on him. Split second later, Yaney shouts. The gangster suddenly grunt in pain. Slowly opening his eyes, Letzeriel realizes he's looking at Yaney's back. He turns and smiles at Letzeriel, grabbing a bottle of beer and gulping it down. You're welcome.
Chloe!
Thanks, Dad!
Oh!
Piss off! He wipes his mouth, puts the bottle aside, and helps Letzeriel to his feet. Together they finish driving away the remaining gangsters. Now that the conflict is over, Letzeriel looks around the bar. A few lights are broken, the tables and chairs are in disarray, and the floor is covered with shattered glass. Yaney fist bumps Letzeriel in the chest, who laughs and limps over to lean on Yaney's shoulder.
That's...
Stupid bastard. Next time, think twice before saving a beauty, okay? If I didn't show up, you would have gotten your ass kicked. I did. I had a hunch, though. I thought, man, Yaney's gonna save my ass anyway.
Twanya!
You little bitch. Yaney swears, and the two of them burst out laughing. Letzeriel feels better than he has in a long time. The inevitable scoldings from his boss in payment for the damage can all go to hell. They just beat the hell out of a bunch of pathetic little bastards. They laugh and shout, partying as if it were the end of the world. Finishing all the events of a certain date will return you to the timeline page. Now you may view any chapter on the timeline or click the button to proceed to the next day. So I don't think any of these had a choice. Well, I want to see where Shervlet's original choice took her. So apparently it's going to remember the choice I made last playthrough, so she should be at the racehorse tracks on the next day. So that is what I'm going to go with. I wonder where the racehorse track takes her. Letzeriel is awoken by the sound of birds and is still half asleep. He stares at the moldy spot on the wall, his eyes dry and tired. Being a bartender is really ruining his body's inner clock. Damn it. He closes his eyes and groans. The lack of sleep is turning him into a wilting plant, slowly withering away. The aftermath of the fight didn't really hit him until he woke up. Every aching muscle in his body a hateful reminder. He climbs out of bed in his small room behind the bar, dark circles under his eyes, and stumbles toward the window. His ankle still throbs dully from twisting it during the fight the night before, but he recovers quickly. Maybe because he is young, or this tough life has already made him a man of steel. He has always been confident in his ability to recover. Even better, today is Confess Day. It's still early, a time when the residents who go to the chapel for morning prayers will be keeping the confessor busy. Even the strict confessor should have his hands full at this point. Screw the boss and the job. He must attempt to go back to the library, even if he gets fired. An hour later, Letzeriel heads out. His shoes are so polished that he can see his reflection in them, and his pants are neatly folded, giving no sign of a swelling ankle. Whistling, Letzeriel maneuvers around other pedestrians, occasionally apologizing to the people he accidentally bumps into. Though street injuries are the cause of his clumsiness, no one could possibly blame a polite young fella. Excuse me, mister. He turns around. A newsboy is standing behind him, shivering in the cold. He wipes his red nose, smiling at Letzeriel. Letzeriel notices the big canvas bag on his shoulder, the same style he used in his youth. It reminds him of when he sold newspapers on the street for a pittance until it was too dark to continue. Then he would go back to the monastery for some sleep. The newsboy doesn't know what's on Letzeriel's mind. He sniffs and offers a rumpled newspaper to him. Hope you're faring well, mister. I'm selling the Thalazak Morning Post right now. We've got some interesting issues covered here, including the latest progress on the priest murder case. He holds the paper up, tapping the header in bold black ink with the knuckle of his index finger. Has Votru forsaken its flock? Letzeriel briefly glances at it before noticing the photo of the imprisoned suspect down below. And today we have an Intestofa column. From the ravages of the plague to the progress of the recovery so far, and several interviews with Intertofon refugees. I guess they want Intestofon. In Promland have been published too. Well, how about it? Look, we're all going to be tied anyway. I might as well tie myself directly. Letzeriel moves his eyes from the newspaper, sizing up the boy's scabbed nose and frostbitten face. He reaches into his pocket, counts the coins, and slips them into the boy's hand. Then he pulls a newspaper out of the boy's bag. Okay, I'll take you up on your offer then. Thank you, sir. Votru bless you. Letzeriel soon walks away, leaving the newsboy shouting from behind. He waves the newspaper roll to the boy and squeezes himself into the crowd waiting for the tram at the stop sign. The huffing and heat of the crowd turns into white mist. Letzeriel quickly moves his way through, breathing out warmth onto his red, stiff fingers and inhaling the aromas of perfume and food. He wants to get rid of this trouble in his hand, but he hesitates and tucks the newspaper into his coat. Letzeriel takes a look at the clock on the platform, noticing the train will arrive in a half-minute. Frankly, he just doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care if a priest commits murder. He is not a believer. Those priests are not Votru's humble servants. They are normal people with normal needs like everybody else, with typical desires and defaults. It's only then that realization hits. The crowd begins moving again. Letzeriel follows through, standing at the end of the line as his hand fumbles with coins. 5, 10, 11. 11 Phil cents. Letzeriel fetches them out and lines them up on his palm. It takes 20 cents to Thalazak. Fine. The only thing he can do is shuffle them back in his pocket and walk away from the queue silently, causing the next girl to dart him a curious look. Letzeriel just shrugs, feeling his ankle getting worse as he leaves. Shit. He shouldn't have bought that newspaper. And now he'll have to walk 4 streets to St. Godhrkar Academy with a limp leg. Isn't that just great? Letzeriel watches the tram whizzing down the track, then turns and stumbles towards the sidewalk. Isn't he the luckiest guy in the world? There aren't many passers-by on the road, but the people who are out stare, some openly and others subtly at him, unable to comprehend the idea of a well-dressed cripple. Retreating from the confused glances, Letzeriel takes the newspaper out again and opens it to hide his face. He's glad that he didn't toss it away. In Intestofa, due to the spread of the Iran plague, protesters have gathered in front of Capital City Hall and organized a protest, demanding the immediate development of treatment. In the last 6 years, nearly a quarter of the country's population has been reduced by the infection, leading to a large number of its citizens moving to the surrounding areas as refugees. The government has been virtually paralyzed. So far, Intestofa authorities have not yet responded to the protests, and there are opposition groups using this political unrest to claim that no interest in global news. Letzeriel flips the pages and finally stops when an article at the top in big black letters catches his eye. The serial murder case now closed. Is the wandering priest from the holy city really the criminal? He glances through the rest of the newspaper, saving that headline for last. The author, Truth Seeker, apparently conducted an extensive investigation, even going so far as to grant the publisher permission to share the full name of the suspect arrested by the Ili City police through this article. Letzeriel's eyes lingers on the photo of the culprit, wondering why the police would leak out such confidential information. Although, this report is not exactly breaking news anymore. Turna Keshtazai was not educated in any seminary the way most other priests were. Like his mother and sister, Keshtazai is a refugee from Entestofa. After settling in Thalazak, Turna joined the army and fought on the front lines during Promlin's civil war. It was not until he was discharged that he accepted the call of Votru and became a wandering priest. Can this misery turn a normal person into a cold-blooded murderer? Truthseeker devotes a great deal of words to telling the story of Turna's past, introducing the readers to the misfortunes of his childhood and adolescence. The past could change a person's character, which, as some of his words suggest, is what really happened to Father Keshtazai. A good example of how public opinion could be guided by words. Maybe he should pay this truth-seeker a visit later. The article is proof of his extraordinary detective skills. Finally, Serial arrives at the library. He's immediately able to see Sandra.
Oh, yo.
Good day, Sandra. How's it going?
Let's.
Oh, Serial. Pretty good. I got scolded by my brother, though. He can be stuffy sometimes. Sandra pouts, her cheeks puffed up. Serial couldn't help poking her face. Soon Sandra couldn't hold herself up anymore and burst into laughter. Anyway, what brings you here today?
Moya Stela.
Can't that be you?
No.
You're trying to fool me again.
Cleity.
No, I mean it. Well, anyway, I was wondering if you could help me with something.
Oh.
Sure. With those old newspapers? Back in 1429? You got me. Alright, follow me. Let's see what you need. This is your automatic save. You can click on it to load the story. After a bad ending, this save will be automatically erased. You can access the latest date from the unlocked timelines. The completion percentage of the date stories will be displayed under their date. Okay. I didn't mean to right click, but okay.
Go away.
Thanks. He takes her hand and follows Sandra to the end of the last rows of bookshelves where the old newspapers lie. The cabinet is attached to the wall, and the black walnut door is marked in brass with the name, type, age of the newspaper, and the publishing office. Here you go. I arranged them in chronological order. Help yourself, but do put them back when finished. I'll be sorting out the new books at the front, so tell me when you need me.
Sandra.
Thanks a lot, Sandra. After seeing her off, Serial immediately climbs up the ladder and finds the issue he wants according to the label on the counter above. Here's a year 1529. Capital News Anecdote of Suliep Chiba today. Before leaving the monastery in Hokarika, he stole his own file. June 1529 to February 1544. That was when he stayed at the prison-like orphanage. He is so absorbed in this worthless memory that he slows his moves. When the realization hits, he finds an issue of Capital News, April 1529, in his hand. A good coincidence. Serial clenched the piece of paper. He'd found his own files from the orphanage. It doesn't look like a child's work. If it was really accident that made him an orphan, the truth must hide behind this particular year and month. He takes a breath, opens the newspaper, and put all the childish timidity behind. All he needs is the truth. But he would not find his truth just yet. 19th, 20th, 21st, 23rd? The document with pages torn out makes Serial freeze in place. No matter what newspaper he looks at, there are no issues that include April 22nd. Besides that, even when he finds reports on accidents involving families of 3, there is no record of a child's age matching his. Disappointment makes Serial's blood runs cold. If an accident involving his family occurred that year, someone is definitely trying to cover it up. Who will that be? Okay. But his wife, ooh, he's married? Cool. I think this is the first detective I've seen with an actual living wife. A pleasantly warm ray of sun shines through the window and lands on every corner of their room. Every morning at this time of the year starts that way. In a couple of hours, the sun will be lighting up their entire house, no longer a threat to groggy eyes. Having had time to digest his breakfast and finish packing his things, Easton gets ready to head out to the morgue. He makes sure he has his badge and pistol, which, when combined, secures his right to act as a legislator of the law. He stands by the doorway, just needing to put on his shoes, and answer a second round of arguments from his wife. She stands behind him in her apron, looking at Easton's broad figure with a complicated expression. Overtime on yet another confession day? Unlike her husband, Belialia is a devout believer. Despite having little conflict in their daily relationship, arguments around religion gives Easton the most headaches. Some problems that don't normally pop up in their conversations tend to spring up everywhere on holidays like this.
Billy Ann?
We just talked about this.
Sure.
And didn't settle a thing. Easton takes a break from tying his shoes and looks up at his distressed wife. He's just about to speak, but... I know what you're gonna say. To protect people, to catch the culprit, to bring justice to the victim. But taking it to the next level and abandoning your own family is going too far. I'd rather stay with you, but... Billy, if I don't do my job, what good am I as a police officer? I could never work the same way my colleagues do. You know that. I just can't. I've seen those bodies and their anguished families with my own eyes. I can't sleep well if I don't crack this case. You're asking me to betray my badge.
Sure.
You know I didn't ask you to do that. All I'm asking you is for one day. Just one day. Am I forcing you to quit your job or give up your duties? Those cases can wait, am I right? If so, don't make me feel guilty about it. Easton turns his face away from his wife's judgment. He knows those eyes far too well. Always filled with melancholy, yet stern as they look straight into his thoughts. She's not wrong. He keeps repeating the same tricks, which is to hide behind responsibility to another. How about scheduling the appointment on a weekday? Sorry, sweetheart. This one is special. We agreed to this morning specifically. Silence falls upon them. They make eye contact, but only briefly. Easton looks away, then grabs her arms to gently push her aside. He needs to leave. But Belialia doesn't go away. She pulls her long hair back from her face and looks at him calmly. There's no time like the present, is there? Okay, it's not like this is the first time. But can you at least make time on the 8th? Don't forget your comrades in arms party. She throws Easton a coat to him, and he gratefully accepts it. Belialia has always been a considerate woman. Even if they are having a disagreement, she doesn't forget to look after him.
Billion?
When this case is over, let's go to Thalazak. Oh my god. When this case is over, let's go to Thalazak to have our baptism day together. I think it's going to be a great show this year. Really? Give me a reason you won't stand me up. I've already submitted the leave application, though it's not approved yet. I promise I'll close this case as soon as possible. I'll do my best. His over-earnest nature makes it impossible for him to make hasty promises. Under the questioning eyes of his wife, he is tongue-tied and recoils. Belialia smiles wryly as she sighs, shakes her head, and turns back toward the house. Thankfully, both their son and daughter are still asleep, and the little argument goes unnoticed. I understand. I'll be a good wife and help you make up a good excuse for your children. Again. When she closed the door, Easton could only sigh at the space between them. Holding eye contact while talking to Belialia has proved increasingly difficult with time. Today is no less challenging. A second after she began speaking, he knew where it was going and dropped his gaze to his worn-out shoes. He will not change his mind. To him, there's always something more important. The morning of Confess Day is just another day in Illy. Easton does not have to pay much attention to the people on the road. He did not lie to Belialia, though. He and Whitten had already worked out the arrangements for the autopsy last night. Apparently, Whitten garnered an armful of candidates. He headed straight to a professor, asking him to recommend his best intern, and settled the deal in less than an hour. Whitten promised he would arrange for an intern to meet Easton at 11 in the morgue the next day. Oh yeah, didn't he mention that somebody else came before the student? Easton arrives half an hour early to the morgue. He is excited that someone with professional medical knowledge would soon arrive. Just as Easton was about to get comfortable, a staff member knocked and entered.
Vatishak.
Easton, right? You've got a visitor. This early? Are you sure it's for me?
Arhik.
Head of the priest case, isn't that you?
Ah.
Ah, it is. He rises from his seat and heads outside. A man of considerable height and impressive physical build stands with his hands behind his back. His long bangs hang over his eyes. He already has his medical mask on, covering the lower half of his face. The only facial feature Easton can identify is a very tall nose. The detective stares at him for some time and convinces himself that he is actually carrying an ammunition box instead of surgery tools.
Yashon.
Sorry for my early arrival, Mr. Lockno. I've made other plans after this.
Alain.
That's alright. The name's Eastonizer, by the way. Whitten is my colleague. Right, my apologies. Easton frowns. He can't quite put a finger on what's bothering him, but he's happy Whitten's recruitment efforts yesterday yielded such eager participants.
Godhrkar.
Your name?
Raven.
Raven Windshar.
You're clear.
Oh, that is not Raven. That is not Raven at all, bro. Shall we proceed, Dr. Easton? His cold demeanor remains... Detective Easton, okay. His cold demeanor remains unfazed and urges the detective to proceed with the task. Easton signals the way with his hand, and they go inside.
Hastic.
Is this connected to the rumored Turnham murder? That's a trespass into police territory. The fact that this intern has made such a connection already is not too promising. It may cloud his judgment. An unfiltered and genuine analysis is often better, although some information about the case may help. Yeah, what kind of rumors have you interns been circling?
Zendomia.
Nothing pretty. It's an unusual case. A priest. Go figure. Easton approaches the body and takes a quick look at the evidence in the room. The knife, the victim's shoes, the hair sample. The intern waits to the side while the detective verifies everything is in order, then makes a sign to him.
Alain.
You can go ahead. Just put those gloves on and don't touch things without permission.
Fee.
I've got my own. He puts his surgical kit on the closest table and takes out a pair of gloves. And, like priest on the altar, he approaches the corpse while donning the gloves.
Yashon.
Let's unsheath him. Easton nods. The intern lifts the cover to expose the upper body. When he comes to the hardened flesh, his eyes stop at the stiff muscle where the skin has been peeled. He turns around and consults his kit, grabbing forceps and a pair of scalpels. Easy there.
Moya Fiok.
I only need to get behind the first layer. Raven is the professional in the matter, so Easton folds his arms and watches the intern move. He makes a deep cut with the scalpel, then lifts the flesh with the forceps. Huh.
Godhrkar.
Anything special? Poor man's been wrung dry. He was flayed, after all. I suppose that's why.
Fee.
Not just that.
Mojestiras.
This man may have little blood left, and that's intentional. If left to rot, his entire body would turn a wicked bluish color quickly. So this means somebody actually wrung him dry. Raven uses the tweezers to tug one side of the skin away, laying it down like one blanket of skin over another, further exposing the muscles to show Easton the cross-sectional area that has turned unusually dark. See how hardened the flesh is? It resembles dried beef you can buy in shops. Normal blood loss wouldn't be this thorough. And that means
Clear.
somebody actually let blood from him. That's all I know. Did you find anything at the crime scene? There was some blood on the ground, but
Zendomia.
you should have done a better job of crime scene investigation. Just because there's a loss of blood doesn't necessarily mean it matches the blood at the crime scene. It's a simple thing to fake. Easton raises his eyebrows, finding it laughable, and in turn telling the police how to do their job. But he has a point, and that is exactly what Easton has in mind. Victim's blood loss appears to be mainly due to damage of abdominal viscera. The caked blood ran down from the victim's stomach, while his arms remained relatively clean. The lack of blood around the victim's arms is, considering the apparent massive loss of blood, a contradictory observation. Those professors recommended him well, an experienced medical intern, Easton thinks to himself. Raven continues his work. He skillfully selects various tools to clean the incision at the body's waist. He quickly opens the abdomen by pulling the skin up and hooking it. So is this the fucking killer doing it? That's not how his intestines ought to look. What the hell does that mean? It's in a different state than his flayed arms. An inconsistency. The flayed wound is rough, with the fascia heavily torn. There is also severe damage to his blood vessels and muscles. But the internal organs are perfectly preserved. The cut on his intestines is clean. A surgical precision, I'd say. The stab wounds on the surface were done with a different knife. An act of corpse brutality. So, the two injuries were caused under different circumstances.
Zendomia.
Not exactly the job you can do with a small knife, if that's the murder weapon you found. He tilts his head toward the evidence tray where a small gray knife with a thin blade lies. The intern stands mute for a moment, his eyes unfocused as he gets lost in thought. There's a knock at the door. Excuse me, sir. You've got another visitor. Who? A doctor, maybe? He looks pretty young to me. Another one? What is a Widden up to? Before Easton has time to address the intern, Raven turns and howls out the door. Good day, Mr. Locknell. I'm the intern from Illy Medical College. Another one, huh? Easton sizes up a young man up. He appears slightly thinner than the former one, more like a patient than a doctor. In any case, the school badge on his kit confirms what he said.
Oh.
Likewise. And Widden Locknell's the other guy. I'm his partner.
Line.
You must be Mr. Eastonizer, then. Nice to meet you. Easton nods and reaches out a hand to him.
Line.
Nice to meet you, too. Seems we've got two of you here. It's unusual that he would do this. Anyway, what's your name?
Raven Windshar.
Raven Windshar. Two Raven Windshars? The alarm suddenly goes off in his head. Easton ignores the other man's hand, still in the air, immediately pushing him away and rushing back to the corridor. There's no sign of the other intern. Easton can only stare on in exasperation. Behind him, this new Raven is still standing there, looking a little flustered.
Joe's dear claw.
Where is he? Is he gone? Easton remains silent. He is caught up on something about one of the windows. It is shut but unlocked, but that isn't the only thing. When he scans the windowsill, he spots a small patch of dirt. He opens the window, peeks his head out, and sees the lounge on the first floor. It would be an easy escape. What the heck? I'm afraid I must check your intern identification, Raven.
Line.
Absolutely. Here you are, sir. Having watched the intern's innocent behavior, Easton breathes a sigh of relief. A quick glance reveals that things do seem to be in order after all. Well, the good news is he didn't tamper with any evidence. Or the body. Shall we start? He extends an open hand towards the corpse, clearly frustrated.
Blotchy.
Alright then, I'll start. Raven puts on a pair of gloves from the nearby table and gets to work. This victim looks miserable with his body ripped open. Although training has taught him to stay calm, Raven lets out a sound of disgust. Easton taps his foot in irritation, his mind still whirling about what just happened. He realizes that Raven's attitude was contradictory to his alleged status as a doctor, and this raises further suspicions. Who was that guy exactly? Could he be the culprit? Damn it. He should have asked him to take off the mask in the first place. Detective Eastonizer?
Godhrkar?
Anything interesting? Raven interrupts Easton's self-loathing with an apologetic pout on his face, suggesting that Easton should turn his attention back to the corpse.
Show. Moir steer.
Okay. It's awfully bleak and dry. Thankfully, both examinations have come to the same conclusion.
See.
Raven reaches out to pull something out of his kit, but Easton taps his shoulder.
Shuffle.
There's already a cut made. Raven nods and brings his own forceps out. Easton shows him the cut made on his upper arm, and Raven lifts the piece of flesh. He bends down and spends a good deal of time scrutinizing a specific gash. His eyes then flick to the victim's neck. They keep jumping back and forth as if comparing the two spots. Finally, he straightens his back.
Show.
He's got two arterial cuts.
Steer.
One on his left arm and one on his neck, both of which could have emptied him of blood. And there's a hole on his abdomen, so it could be from his intestine.
Moir steer.
If it was severely severed while he was alive, that could also cause a hemorrhage. Okay. They frown as they look at the mutilated body. The bleeding, the disembowelment, the flaying, it all seems excessive, even for the most depraved gang member. No human being can stoop this low and live with himself, unless the killer is some kind of evil cultist. The image of Father Turnakeshta's eye, back hunched and the life in his face sucked out of him, makes Easton's body quickly tense. Maybe the man's silence comes from the shame and guilt of his crime, and his refusal to cooperate reflects his penance. It's impossible to figure out what's on his mind. After all, who could talk about carrying out such acts? Easton bites his lip and falls silent. So I'm not there yet. I think we'll be at the end of the chapter. Playing as an assassin, huh?
Oh, see, you're Shonla.
That's right. I can't believe it. It's perfect. It's the best. Don't flatter me. Pry drops the chalk and throws the cowhide bag into Phallus's hand. After leaving the morgue, it took Pry a few hours to check every workshop in the city. It wasn't hard to conclude from the mutilation of the corpse that the culprit needed a place to do it, and what could be better than a hunter's workshop? Phallus Geraghty's workshop is his last target. During his conversation with the clerk, someone bursts out of the staff room and invites him inside. It is none other than the manager, Phallus Geraghty, the friendliest and arguably the most dangerous individual in Illy City. It doesn't take Pry long to deem the place clear of suspicion. But the owner's enthusiasm is too enchanting. Pretty soon, Pry finds himself giving advice on the workshop's latest design.
Moir Forresteras.
It's incredible. Perfect. How did you even come up with that? The owner smacks Pry's upper back with his right palm, nearly making the man swallow his tongue. He tries his best to dodge the owner's hand, realizing his stay is long overdue. I should get moving.
Oh, Svea.
Aw, come on. Let me show you around. Pry forces a smile, which he had long forgotten how to do. But a sudden unsettling feeling instinctively brings his poker face back, and his heart tells him to leave right now.
Fee.
I've got to get going. Refusing, Pry doesn't show his disappointment. His plan, mildly optimistic in hindsight, was to stumble across the right workshop, hopefully encountering the Warnock brothers directly. The second he recognized one of their faces, his knife would be drawn and the brother's head would dangle from his neck. Brutal, yet efficient. But the workshops, including this one, are all clean of any criminal activity. And this cleanliness could make them this cleanness could make them suspicious, but it would be listed as cleared by Pry. He is looking for 2 cautious criminals who would not choose these shops with open workbenches as their target. He wouldn't have to go through all this trouble to get information about the gangs if he was in Thalazak. But in unfamiliar Illy City, he has to visit the black market and other dangerous places run by the gangs to try his luck. Thalas only cares about persuading the gut hunter to stay. He scurries over to Pry and grips his neck like a bottle of soda.
Zia Shonla.
Your idea is fantastic! Let us sign a contract immediately. You're working for me now. Leaving his past and everything behind to start a quiet life in a little workshop? It's a tempting offer. But Pry shakes the ridiculous thought from his head.
Felomzai.
No.
Mojestiras.
No, I'd rather know your answer regarding what we discussed before. I hardly work with gangsters. They have their own workshop, I suppose. Pry practically snorts. That's enough to prove there's at least one underground workshop he doesn't know about. With that thought, he decides to head out.
Svea.
You'll have to come by before you leave Illy.
Godhrkar.
I'll do my best. Fellows puts his other hand on Pry's back and guides him out of the staff room. With the tinkle of a wind chime, a scruffy man walks through the front door of the workshop. His clothes look ragged, and he drags himself in like a ghost. Excuse me.
Hey, Zimwa.
The new customer shrugs in response.
Clear?
Why the long face? What's making our Zimoya so unhappy?
Gizdlava.
Traitors. Bastards. Unscrupulous gamblers. The scum stole everything on the tracks. I'll have to rummage through every gutter, every saloon, and every horse mattress to get them back.
Hey.
Whoa, easy, man. Forget it. It's not your first time dealing with them, right? Why are you so angry? Zimoya sighs deeply and reaches under his hat to scratch his head. Normally, I would turn a blind eye. It's not easy, but at this point, it seems like they're doing it on purpose. They knew the Marquis is... He stops talking, noticing the presence of strangers. Zimoya straightens his hat and puts the brim down.
Clear.
Anyway, I'm not here to gossip, fellas. I'm checking on my order. We can't afford any more breakdowns.
Zia Shonla.
All printed and done. Zimoya glances at Pry briefly, silently suggesting to Phallus that they should talk later in private. Zimoya probably wants to tell Phallus all about his griefs, but can't be convinced to with a stranger around, which disappoints Pry. I'll be on my way. However, Phallus won't pass up a chance like this so easily. He steps away from Zimoya and stands between the two, holding a hand out to each of them.
Hey.
Let me introduce you. This is the best hunter in Promland I've ever seen. This is, we call him Zimoya. He's a train driver from Illy Station. Pry and Zimoya shake hands and greet one another. Neither seems happy to have exchanged names.
Moyes, dear.
Gentlemen, I have an idea. Together you're strong.
Huh?
What the hell you been talking about? Work, Zimoya. Have a sense of humor, please. I am talking about your work. This fella, whose name I forgot to ask, could be of assistance. Zimoya squints at Phallus, trying to read through his nonsense.
Clear?
He just moved here, and he's looking for a little leather shop. You guys are so well informed. You must have some leads, right?
Huh.
Isn't there a leather shop right in here? Phallus leans over and whispers near Zimoya's ear. Of course! Help me convince him to stay! Zimoya looks away in thought, his hand on his forehead. The pale blue looks like cold green in the light, like the moss in the graveyard behind Ermengarde Chapel. After a while, Zemia snickers through his bushy beard. I don't know who this guy is, but a hunter, eh? Huh. Well, you're the only one who would believe this crap. If you don't have enough problems with your store, try delaying my order. Better than messing with this guy, at least. The attention of the group, which had been placed on Zemia earlier, transfers instantly to Pry, and the air in the room grows heavy. Pry doesn't move, except to lean on the wall to relax his shoulder. He's sure he's not the only dangerous person in this shop. Now Pry, who'd mostly been focusing on Phallus, squared up against Zemia, determined to wring as much information out of him as possible. Though he looks fierce, Zemia can't fool the pragmatic man. There's an obvious lack of experience in getting his hands dirty, and Pry sniffs that out immediately. Another Godhrkar, he thinks. But at least it doesn't look as dangerous as it did yesterday.
Fantastic.
What do you want?
Yeah.
You answer that question first.
Może stiras.
Black market hunting yard, leather factory, something on the ground. No one speaks. The slow response piques his interest.
Fantastic.
Who owns the black market? The Buckers.
Claw.
Where? Pry stares down at Zemia, who subconsciously takes a step back. Fella steps forward and explains hurriedly before Pry can reach into the pocket where his knife lies.
Yeah, must.
Wait, he made a mistake. He's a part of a completely different group. He's got the union type of work. Not even Phallus's usual buoyancy can keep the oppressive atmosphere afloat. The owner feels like he's putting out a fire with ice, suddenly struck with the remorse of being the wrong girl's pimp. Pry moves his hand away, his holder catching Zemia's eyes.
Well startled.
I want weapons. Sorry,
Falomza.
I can't help you with that. I bet a couple of guns wouldn't be a fuss for you.
Slish.
For 30 thil, you can buy your own.
Yeah.
Make that 100, and those shops won't offer Sartorius pistols. Pry raises an eyebrow. He's talking to a connoisseur.
Fee.
Can't help you. Then I don't know where the black market is. The air froze as silence enveloped the room. Compromise for virtue's sake. Communication ain't no-way street.
Może stiras.
If you show me to the Bucker's hideout. As long as you give me that gun.
A lie.
Fine. Pry holds up his coat and places his pistol on the table.
I don't know.
Whoa! I'm happy we got some kind of friendly agreement. We can go out and grab something to eat to celebrate. It would be nice getting to know each other since you're a team now.
Can't train.
Don't let me down, Zemia. Pry's eyes relax and the corner of his mouth curves upward in a faint smile, then disappears as quickly as it has arrived. Despite losing out on his gun, it seems like it will still be of good use to him. The sooner he finds the trace, the better. After patting Zemia on the shoulder, they leave the shop. Pry removes the cigarette from an inside pocket and lights it. They walk at a brisk pace, Pry watching all directions.
Yeah, well, look.
Tell me about yourself. Can't we just go there and get it over with?
Falomza.
I need to know why you need that gun. Zemia huffs. At first he thought Pry was just a reckless gangster, but it appears he's not that corrupted, which is a problem. However, his arrogance isn't as horrible as he previously thought. My guys, the Maximalists, fight for better conditions, and
Can't train.
yourself, Zemia. Criminal record?
Well startled.
If thought and revolution count. I was exiled and followed Miss Valerie Sokmanov here. But seeing the exact same conditions as where I used to live, I refused to sit around idly.
Claw.
The last Godhrkar who said that died in an infighting, along with his gang. It's because of those Thalazakans. Yakov is gone all right, but General cannot be defeated so easily. Do you know they run the elite pier? As heads up, we're not like those gangs. See, even though we share the same blood and we were both exiled from our homelands, we still have different aspirations from them. Let alone those decadent nobles. Damn it. The thought of those rats in the same city as us make my stomach twist. They continue to oppress people of all backgrounds. We are going to liberate everyone equally, like the fisherman over there. He points at a man walking by with equipment over his shoulder.
Luda.
He's working twice as hard as the average office worker in Illy City, but gets barely a handful. What we fight for is to... Pride turns his head in disinterest. Zimia shuts up and gives him... Oh my god, English, what the fuck? Pride turns his head in disinterest. Zimia shuts up and gives up trying to save the stubborn man. Anyway, real problems, man. Oh, right, around here. He stops and points at one of the back streets on the other side of this road. The entrance is along the way. Today is horse racing day, so those rats may be hanging out here. They cross the pedestrian walkway and saunter over to the alley. The horse betting house is at the farthest point, just before a dead end. Zimiya slows down, sizes up Pry, and buries his face in his palms. Man, you look like a cop with all that junk around your waist.
Yeah, Sean.
Don't worry. Let's go. Zimiya shakes his head while Pry flicks his cigar away. They walk inside the rowdy place without being stopped by a security guard. The place has a distinct aura of secrecy to it. In the middle of the room is the bar, which looks a bit smaller than the other bars. One man is turning the radio before the race starts, near which are tables where young men are busy throwing dice and playing cards. Hey, piss off! From behind them booms a voice of a male in his 20s who enters shortly after them. Zimiya and Prai step aside awkwardly. The man swears at them and moves on, followed by a handful of men similarly aged and looking nothing like common gangsters. Zimiya stands still while his eyes fix on a young man who followed them in. Without saying a word, he heads off in that direction, rolling up his sleeves as he goes.
Oi.
Hey! Before Zimiya dashes to the bar, Pry grabs his arm. He only had a couple of long strides left to reach the guys over at the bar. Zimiya glares at the man who's chatting and laughing with nearby patrons, then turns his head away.
Kizdlava.
Let me go. The guy's scum.
Hastic.
Personal animosity. Following Zimiya's eyes, Pry sees the man. The henchman waves his arm around, telling a joke to the half-smiling bartender. One of the young men slices through the air with his hand in an odd gesture. The bartender lowers his head and prepares a drink.
Kizdlava.
Kailai, Yuri. Those thieves joined the gang. I thought they're just weak-minded comrades, damn it. I can't believe I just shared the only firewater I brought from Godhrkar with them. I poured it down that traitor's throat!
Yeah, Sean.
Let's have a chat, but keep calm and don't mess things up. They walk to the bar together and stop beside the noisy young people.
You're clear.
Excuse me.
Kalamastoshan.
Enough. If I have to pick up the slack for those two dirty gringos again, I'm gonna call the cops.
Boyman.
I just don't get what the boss is thinking. Why do we need to work with those upstarts? We're not a charity. You tell me, Hoitzo. How did we end up fighting the barbarians like this? The three of them curse and clink glasses, unaware of Pry and Zimiya.
Sleesh.
You. He taps the loudmouth's shoulder blade. A faint smell of alcohol emanates from the group. Pry takes a step forward, and the group finally notices them. Some of them glance over to Zimiya with a look of surprise.
Majestiras.
I'm looking for the Warnock brothers. That's a whole different story than what Zimiya had heard before. The Maximalist looks back and forth between Pry and the gangsters, while Hoito shakes his head and smiles unapologetically.
The fight you suck.
Sorry, don't give a shit. Hoito shrugs and leans his head back. Two of the other guys snicker and he turns it back around with a glass in his hand. Pry snatches a chunk of Hoito's coat, nearly tipping the man off the chair, and pulls the gangster towards him.
Fear Kash dons it.
Don't test me. Retract that, Zimiya thinks in desperation. This guy's just as simple and violent as he thought before. Pry has no expression on his face. Just anger seeps from his eyes. He didn't think the first punk he met would actually know the Warnock brothers, and he wasn't about to let the opportunity slip by. Sorry, I had to fix something. Okay. He yanks the man's coat harder, crushing his arrogance into dust with only a glance.
Sai.
Hey, calm down. I'll tell you, man.
Hastik?
Where are they?
Moyashtia.
Check the place over at Bondo. Place is kind of hidden, you know?
Kaya.
Give me the exact location. Bondo 70-something. It's a back street, man. I don't freaking know the exact location. Look for the brown circular sign. A leather store.
Moyashtia.
Oh, bonus service. They're closed today. You can come back tomorrow. Don't worry. We won't tip them off. Tip them off? Okay. Had enough of those troublemaking bombs anyway. Uh-huh. Pry releases his grip, and the guy steps back, straightening himself. Come on, man. Don't need to get all violent and shit. Let's go. He turns around and taps Simia's shoulder with the back of his hand. He follows Pry, and they head out of the gambling house. Probably a good decision. They wouldn't treat Zumaya very well. Okay. We're almost to the point where I died. But you know what? I'm going to call it a stream here. I'm just going to start this up so it saves somewhere. So I'll start with her. And I will just leave it at the beginning right here. So yeah. I'm gonna leave it right there. And I will see you guys at another time. Yeah. I will see you guys later.